The knife slipped once, just once. She didn't flinch. She wiped her thumb on the hem of her apron and kept chopping. Onion bits scattered across the wood counter. Outside, the wind hit the siding hard. The storm had passed. The silence afterward always bothered her more. The knock came like it knew she hated quiet. Not frantic, not soft either. 3 knocks, even, cold. She dried her hands on a kitchen rag and opened the door halfway. The boy stood there barefoot, dirt all the way to his knees. Rope burns on both wrists, red and fresh, like they hadn't healed because no one let them. A slice of bread in his palm, held out flat like an offering. His eyes didn't move. My mama said you'd know what that means. Marin stared at the bread, then at his wrists. You gonna say something? She didn't. He looked down at the bread again, like maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe he was supposed to bring more. I ain't asking for nothing else, he said. Marin opened the door. He didn't thank her. Just walked in, slow, like his feet hurt. She locked the door behind him. In the kitchen, he sat on the edge of the chair, like it might fold under him. His fingers trembled, but didn't drop the bread. She put the kettle on. How long since you ate? I don't know. Did you sleep last night? No. You run? Walked. From where? He shook his head. It doesn't matter. Marin poured water into the tin pot and placed it on the stove. She pulled down a chipped bowl and ladled some soup from the cold pot still on the back burner. He didn't reach for it. You scared of me? She asked. He looked up fast. No. You should be. His hands dropped into his lap. The bread fell to the floor. She didn't pick it up. You got a name? He shrugged. Does that mean no? I ain't told it in a while. She slid the soup across the table. He stared. Hot? Number cold. He picked up the spoon. They sat in silence while he ate. Outside, the wind came back. You know my mama? He asked. Marin didn't answer. She said you would. Do you always believe what she says? Most of the time. What did she say about me? He scraped the bottom of the bowl. Said you got out. Said they didn't break you. Marin leaned against the counter. You don't look broke, he said. She crossed her arms. You don't either. He held up his wrist. Oh, then why do I get these? Marin turned toward the stove, her back to him. You fix people? He asked. No. You help people? No. You hurt people? She didn't answer. He set the spoon down gently. She said, if it ever got bad, come find you. And it got bad. He nodded once. Who tied you? He didn't answer. She asked again. His voice dropped. It doesn't matter. Where's your mama now? She's gone. Dead. Gone. You sure she's not still out there somewhere? He looked up, eyes wide, flat, hollow. I watched her go. He made me. Marin moved to the sink, turned on the water, washed the onion knife, even though it was already clean. You gonna send me away? She shook her head. No. He stared at her. You gonna ask why she sent me? No. He waited. She said you'd know what that means. He said again. Marin dried the knife. I do. His shoulders dropped. He looked older all of a sudden. Have you ever heard of a rope that sings? He asked. Marin froze. Say again. When the wind hit it just right, it made this high sound, like it was laughing. Have you ever heard of that? She nodded. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a matchbook. They made me light the barn, he whispered. Marin stared. He held it out. Mama said you'd finish what she started. She stepped forward slowly and took it from his hand. There were only 3 matches left. Was there a name? She asked. He nodded. She whispered it right before. Tell me to say it to you. Say it. Connolly. Marin closed her eyes. When she opened them, he was looking at her with something like trust. I ain't never lit nothing before, he said. She told me it's okay. You ain't done wrong. I feel like I did. She would have lit it herself if she had time. He nodded again. The kettle started to whistle. You want tea? No. You want to sleep? I want to know I'm safe. She stepped toward the hallway. You sleep in the back room. It's locked from inside. You keep the key. He didn't move. You trust me? I trust her. That's enough. He stood, wobbling slightly. Marin reached out, steadying him without touching. I got a quilt in there. It's blue. He nodded. Your mama made it, she said. I know. She handed him the key. He walked down the hallway barefoot. The the wood creaking under every step. At the door, he turned. "You remember her, don't you?" Marin looked at the floor. "She braided her hair with red string," she said. The boy smiled, just a little. "Good," he whispered. Then he went inside. The door clicked shut. Marin stood still for a long time. Then she picked the crust of bread off the floor and placed it gently beside the onion bowl. She stared at it. She said nothing, but her hands started to shake. Steam rose from the chipped basin. The boy stood in it, skinny as a post, bruises down his ribs, knees scraped raw. His arms hung at his sides like he'd forgotten how to hold them right. Marin wrung out the cloth. "I didn't steal nothing," he said. "I didn't say you did." She pressed the rag to his back. He flinched. "They tied me up 'cause I talked." "You talk too much." "They said I lied." "Did you?" "No." She scrubbed behind his neck. Dirt came off in sheets. "They made her eat outside," he mumbled. Marin slowed. "Who did?" "Same ones who lit the matches." She rinsed the cloth in silence. "They told her not to sing." He added, "She sang anyway." He nodded. "Till they took her teeth." Marin folded the rag and reached for the soap. "You got a name?" she asked. "Do I need one?" "Helps to be called something." "Call me what you want." "I'll call you Quiet then." "Quiet doesn't fit." "No, I guess not." He winced again when the rag touched the burns. "Have you ever had warm water before?" she asked. "Not like this." She poured more from the kettle. Steam curled up the walls. "Why didn't you ask for help sooner?" "Didn't know where to go." "And now?" "Mama said you'd know." Marin didn't answer. She handed him a towel. He dried off slowly, like he didn't want to stop. She laid out clothes, old but clean, faded from the sun. He dressed fast. He didn't like being bare. "Boots?" he asked. "You'll get some in town." "I ain't got money." "I didn't ask if you did." He watched her pack a satchel, dried meat, apples, a can of beans. "You taking me somewhere?" "Market." "You sure?" "Need thread. You need boots. Let's go." They stepped outside. The morning sun hadn't burned off the fog yet. He walked close behind her, head down. At the general store, eyes followed. "That Marin?" a voice said. "Haven't seen her in years." "Who's the boy?" "She didn't even get kin." "She took in a stray once. Didn't end well." "She must be cracked." Marin opened the door. The boy hovered near the sacks of flour. She held up 2 boot sizes to him. "Which fits?" "These." "Try 'em." He did. They pinched. He didn't say. "They're too tight." He nodded. She grabbed the next size up. "They fit better." She dropped them on the counter. "Put it on my tab." The shopkeep raised an eyebrow. "Didn't know you had a tab anymore." "Guess I do now." He slid the boots toward the boy. "You running a boarding house now, Marin?" "Nope." The shopkeep stared. Marin didn't blink. Outside, the boy said, "They don't like you." "I know." "They think I'm your blood." "Doesn't matter what they think. They think you're dangerous." She didn't respond. They walked past the chapel. The bell tower was half collapsed, the steeple leaning east. He slowed down. "That's where they took her," he whispered. Marin turned. "They made me sit on the steps and listen," he said. "What did you hear?" "Nothing." She stopped screaming early. He stared at the dirt. She didn't make it out. Marin put a hand on his shoulder. He shook it off. "Don't touch me like that." "I wasn't trying to—" "I know." They walked past the sheriff's office. Connolly stood on the porch. He didn't wave. The boys stared back at him. "Is that him?" "No." "Feels like it." "Feels like a lot of men." Connolly stepped off the porch. "You got business in town, Marin?" "Getting boots." "Figured that. Something you need." "Just wondering who the boy is." "Don't think he's your concern." Connolly chewed a toothpick. "He got a last name." "Nope." "He ran from somewhere." "You always ask this many questions." "Only when it smells like secrets." The boy stepped forward. "You smell like whiskey." Connolly grinned. "You have a smart mouth." "You got a dumb face." Marin tugged the boy back. Connolly laughed. "You raise 'em like that." "Walk on," she said. They did. At home, the boy dropped onto the porch steps. "Why'd you take me in?" "It didn't feel like a choice." "You owe her?" "No." "You love her?" Marin stared at the trees. "She was a child. I was too. But I left." "You left her?" "She told me to." He picked at the new boots. "She told me you were the only one left who wouldn't lie." Marin didn't speak. "I can leave," he said. "You won't." "I can make it on my own." "Sure you can." He looked at her. "But you won't," she said. He nodded. "Good," she said. "Then you're staying." The wind picked up. The front gate creaked once. They both turned at the sound. No one there. Marin sat beside him. "You like apples?" "I don't know." "Try one." He bit into one, chewed. "It's all right." They sat in silence as the trees swayed. The boy's hands stayed in his lap. This time she didn't look away. The porch creaked once. She didn't move. Another creak, closer. A third, slower. Then the knock. Not like the boys. Louder. Familiar. She wiped her hands on her apron and opened the door halfway. "Evenin', Marin." Connolly tipped his hat. That same crooked smile. Teeth yellowed, eyes flat. "You cookin'?" "Not for you." He chuckled. "Didn't come for supper." "Then say what you came to say." He stepped up. She didn't let him in. "Heard there's a boy inside." "There are a lot of boys in the world. This one's different." Marin didn't blink. "Came from nowhere. Looked mighty roughed up. He asked for bread." "That ain't what I heard." "You hear wrong. Folks say he came to your door like he knew you." "He didn't. But he stayed." "Is that a crime now?" Connolly leaned against the frame. "Says his mama sent him." Marin didn't answer. "You believe that?" She crossed her arms. "Wouldn't be the first time you took in a stray," he said. "Do you need something else?" He lowered his voice. "You remember what happened last time?" Marin's jaw tightened. "You remember what they did to you, don't you?" "I remember everything." Connolly looked past her, toward the hallway. "I'm just making sure you're not fixin' to take in lost causes again." She stepped forward. "You should go." He stayed put. "That boy's got scars like rope burns." "And?" "You know where that kind of thing leads." "He's not the one that tied him." "You sure?" "I know that my hands hurt." Connolly's face shifted, something darker behind the smile. "You think he's clean?" "He's just a boy." "There's no such thing anymore." Marin pushed the door a little harder. "You think you're fixing something. You're not." She said nothing. "Let him go, Marin." "No." He raised his eyebrows. "No?" "You heard me." Connolly stepped back. "You always did like trouble. And you always made it." He put on his hat. "I'll be around." "Not tonight. The town's small." "So, you're welcome." She shut the door before he could finish. The latch clicked. She leaned her head against the wood. Silence. From behind her, a voice. "Was he there too?" She turned. The boy stood at the hallway's edge, barefoot. "Go back to bed." "Was he one of them?" She hesitated. He watched. He smiled. Too wide. The boy stepped closer. "Mama used to say the ones who smile wide always hide the worst." Marin sat in the chair by the stove. "He wants me gone, doesn't he? He wants silence." She sang too loud. Marin stared into the dead coals. She sang when they told her not to. He was there when they beat her. The boy nodded. "And you?" "I left before it got that far." He studied her. "Did you leave her?" "She made me." "She said you were brave." "I wasn't." "She said you had a knife in your boot." Marin looked down. "I still do." He smiled, faint. "She used to carry thread in her sleeve," he said. Marin stood, crossed to the small cupboard. She pulled out a bundle wrapped in cloth. Inside, red thread. The boy's breath caught. "That's hers. She gave it to me the day I left." "Did you look back?" "Yes." "Did she?" "No." The boy stepped closer. "Are you going to keep me safe?" Marin met his eyes. "I'm going to make sure no one touches you again." He nodded. "Even him." "Especially him." He walked to the window, pulled back the edge of the curtain. "He's still out there." "Probably. I ain't scared of him." "You should be." "I was." "Not anymore." "I got boots now." Marin smiled, just barely. He looked out again. "You think he'll come back?" "Not tonight." The boy turned. "Tomorrow." "Maybe." "Then we should get ready." Marin tilted her head. "You want to stay?" He hesitated, then nodded. "I got nowhere else." "You got here. That's enough?" "For now." He walked past her back toward the hallway. "You gonna sleep?" she asked. He turned back. "If I do, will you be here when I wake?" "Yes." "Swear it?" "I don't swear. I just stay." He nodded again. "Good night," he said. "Night." He disappeared down the hall. Marin turned off the lamp. The room dimmed. She moved to the back door, checked the bolt. Outside, the wind had picked up, leaves scraping the window. She didn't move for a long time. Then, quiet as a whisper, she picked up the knife from the sink, slipped it into her boot, and sat back down in the dark. The boy stood by the window, his breath leaving marks on the glass. Marin stitched in the corner. She hadn't touched that quilt in years. "He doesn't like open windows," the boy muttered. "Who?" "You know who." Marin looked up. "He watches through cracks." She kept sewing, slow, steady. "He doesn't like light either, but he watches when it's dim." Marin threaded the needle again. "He used to stand behind the barn," he said. "You see him?" "No." "But you felt him?" "Always." She walked over with the quilt folded in her arms. "Are you sure about this?" He nodded. "She said it keeps him out." Marin climbed onto the chair and pressed the quilt against the wood frame. "He can smell you through glass," he said. "Has he ever come through?" "Not yet." She hammered the first tack in. "You think this'll stop him?" "Better than nothing." "You scared?" "Been scared before." "This feels worse." She paused. I looked at the fabric. This was hers. He moved closer. "She made that?" Marin nodded. "When she was still singing." "Before they made her stop?" "Yes." The last tack went in. The room darkened. The boy exhaled. "Feels better," he said. They sat in silence. Outside, the chickens clucked nervously. The boy stepped out later, bare feet pressing into dry dirt. He crouched near the side of the house. Marin watched from the porch. "What are you doing?" "Drawing." "In the ground?" "She said it keeps him confused." He moved his finger slowly. 3 circles. "That's it?" He nodded. "What is it?" "Where he ties folks." Marin walked over. Her eyes stayed on the marks. "She said he always uses 3, he said." "Why?" "Don't know." "Triangulation?" "She said it was a ritual." Marin crouched beside him. "You believe that?" He shrugged. "She did. And you." "I saw what he did to her." Marin's hand hovered over the dirt. She didn't touch it. "Don't mess him up," he said. "I won't." He wiped, his hand on his shirt. "She said she saw the circles in her dreams." "She talks in her sleep." "Sometimes." "Do you remember her voice?" "Every part." They walked back to the porch. "You think he's watching now?" "Always." Marin sat on the step. "He's not God," she said. "No, but he thinks he is." The boy nodded. "You think he's still in town?" "He never left." "You sure?" "I feel him." "Where?" The boy pointed toward the woods. "Same place he always waits." "Have you ever been there?" "No." "Want to?" "No." Marin stood. "Come inside." "I ain't tired." "You don't have to be tired to come inside." He followed her in. She lit the lamp low. "Have you eaten yet?" "Not since morning." She handed him a piece of bread and sat down. "Have you ever thought about leaving?" he asked. "Yes." "Why didn't you?" "I couldn't." "Why not?" "She was still here." "In the house." "Number in the dirt." He chewed slowly. "You think she's mad at you?" "Yes." "You think she'd forgive you?" "No." "Then why you helping me?" Marin looked at him. "Because you remind me of her." He swallowed. "You miss her?" "Every day." "Even after what happened?" "Especially after." He looked toward the covered window. "Why'd you keep the quilt?" "She made it for me before everything." "Before they—" "Yes." He stared at the stitching. "She'd like that you used it," he said. Marin nodded. "You gonna keep it up?" "Long as I need to." The lamp flickered once. The boy stood. "I'm gonna draw more outside." "It's dark." "I see better at night." She didn't stop him. He opened the door slowly. The air outside felt heavier. He crouched again. 3 more circles, this time farther apart. He stayed there a long time. She watched him from inside. Her hands didn't shake now. Not yet. The sun hung low. The boy stood by the edge of the back field, toeing the dirt with his boot. He stared at the patch behind the well, where grass grew uneven and the soil dipped like something underneath had sunken. "You dig back there?" he asked. Marin stood at the porch, arms crossed. "No one digs that ground." "Why not?" "Because it doesn't want digging." He kicked a clump of dirt loose. "Someone should." She stepped off the porch, walked toward him. "You feel something under there?" she asked. "I dreamt it." "Dreams lie." "Not always." He knelt down and pressed his palm flat to the earth. "She's there," he said. "You don't know that." "I do." Marin turned away. "That ground's cursed," she said. "By who?" "By what was done." The boy didn't move. "She told me to find her." "She didn't mean here." Did Marin stared at the trees past the field, the ones that never grew right. "She braided her hair the night before," she said. "What color was it?" "Rust." "Like dried blood." "Yes." The boy stood. "She said they buried more than her." Marin's face hardened. "You think I don't know that?" "I think you tried to forget." She walked back inside without another word. That night, she dreamed of blood. It covered her apron, soaked the floor. A braid swayed from a rafter beam, still tied with red thread. The wind in the room had no source, just the sound of rope creaking. Marin woke up sweating. Her hands clenched. The quilt was half off the wall. She sat up fast. The boy was gone. She pulled on her boots and stepped outside. He was behind the house, holding a spade. "Where'd you get that?" she asked. "Barn." "You go in without asking." "She told me to." Marin stared at the ground. "How long have you been out here?" "Since the dream." "Have you dug anything yet?" "Just grass." "Are you planning to go deeper?" "Yes." Marin walked over, took the spade from him. "You know what happens if we're wrong." He nodded. "And if we're right." She stopped screaming. Marin turned the spade and broke the first layer of soil. It was dry, but soft underneath. "You okay?" he asked. "No." "You want me to help?" "No." She dug another scoop, then another. Her breath caught when the fourth clump came up. "You hear that?" he whispered. "No." "I do." "What?" "She's humming." "Don't lie." "I'm not." Marin stood. Her hands trembled. "I need a lantern," she said. "I'll get it." He ran off. She stared into the hole. The dirt was darker now, damp, not from rain. When he returned, she took the lantern and held it close. Something glinted. She dropped to her knees, brushed the soil gently. A button, small, copper, the kind sewn onto a girl's church dress. Her stomach turned. "You want to stop?" he asked. "No." She dug faster, bits of thread, a scrap of blue fabric, then bones, small ones, child's wrist, still curled. She sat back, gasping. The boy didn't look away. "You sure it's her?" Marin nodded. "She wore that dress the day they—" She stopped. "Say it," the boy whispered. "They took her behind the well, said it was for a talk. She never came back. I waited. And I was scared." He knelt beside her. "You weren't the only one." Marin reached into the hole again. "Pull up the braid, still tied, red thread intact." Her breath broke. She handed it to him. He held it like it might vanish. She said, "Thank you," he whispered. Marin covered her mouth. The wind picked up. The trees leaned. "You hear that?" he asked again. "No." "She's not screaming now." Marin looked at the braid, then the bones, then the ground. "We bury her properly," she said. "Here?" "No." "Where?" "Near the chapel." "She'd like that." Marin nodded. "She used to hum while walking by it." He looked at the braid again. "She used to put it over her mouth when she laughed," he said. "She thought her teeth were crooked." "They weren't." "No." The hole stayed open. The lantern flickered once, then steadied. Marin stood. "Get the blanket from my bed." "Why?" "She won't go cold this time." The boy ran. Marin stayed kneeling by the bones. This time, her hands didn't shake. The boy stood by the edge of the church fence, eyes fixed on the hill beyond the field, where the trees had never quite grown back right. The sun caught the edge of a rusted weather vane, half buried in the grass. Where was it? Marin nodded once. "The governor's barn?" "Yes." He didn't blink. "You remember the fire?" "No one talks about the fire." "They tied her to the rail. Mama saw it." "She tells you who?" "The woman who wouldn't kneel." Marin's jaw tensed. "They said she cursed the men with her tongue." "She spoke the truth." "They didn't like that." "No." He looked back at the scarred land. "How long ago?" "Years. I was 15. You saw it?" "I smelled it first." "What's it smell like?" "Burnt hair, oil, leather." He stared down. "She said the screams didn't last long." "They never do." The church bell above them let out a hollow clang, even though the rope had rotted through. "Was it your sister?" he asked. Marin didn't answer. He turned. "You sure?" "She sang at night. That was enough to get her noticed." "You warned her?" She laughed. The boy walked along the edge of the fence. Why, here. She liked this spot. Do you come often? Not in a long time. They crossed into town. The dirt road was cracked, weeds pushing through like the land itself wanted to forget who'd walked it. Folks didn't speak. They watched. Old women stopped sweeping. Men leaned too long against posts. They know? The boy asked. They pretend not to. He pointed to a broken sign nailed to a door. Used to say, "Feed and grain." Now just says, "Dead." Marin kept walking. Connolly stepped off the porch of the general store. Didn't expect to see you both today. Don't pretend you didn't. He smiled too wide. You stir up old places. You dig up ghosts. Maybe it's time someone got dragged. He moved closer. You going around saying names, Marin? Just remembering. He tilted his head. Fire was ruled accidental. Sure it was. You don't want to start turning up things that got buried on purpose. Why not? They bite. She looked him in the eye. I don't mind bleeding. The boy stared at Connolly. You were there. Connolly smiled again. So were a lot of folks. You watched. Watching's not a crime. Neither is remembering. Connolly dropped the smile. You should be careful. Marin stepped forward. You think you scare me now? I think you forgot how easy it is to disappear. The boy stepped in front of her. You won't touch her. Connolly looked down at him. You got a big mouth. Better than a rotten one. Connolly turned, laughing. You raise them good, Marin. We raise ourselves, the boy said. They walked on. Behind them, Connolly didn't follow. At the edge of the dry creek bed, the boy stopped. You believe he lit it? No. Then who? The governor didn't like blood on his porch. Didn't he die the next winter? Frozen stiff, in his parlor. Does that feel like justice to you? No. He crouched near a patch of scorched earth. Her voice is still here. Sometimes I think I hear it. She said you would. Marin looked at the barn's stone foundation. Char marks are still black in the creases. She used to dance in that barn. With you? Number with a girl named Lissa. What happened to her? No one knows. She burned too. Maybe she ran. Would you have run? I did. He stood. She forgave you. She shouldn't have. Still did. They sat on the edge of the stone. The wind blew sharp. You think the town remembers? They remember what they're told to. What about what they saw? They lie about that. He looked toward the ridge. What would you do if you had fire? Same thing she tried to do. Burn them? No. Then what? Scare them. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a matchbook. You keep that on you? She said I'd know when to use it. You think now's the time? Not yet. They sat quietly. The sun dipped behind the ridge. Marin stood. We're going back now. Why? She doesn't like the dark. Is she still out here? She always is. He looked down at the earth. Feels like it's breathing. It is. Back at the house, Marin lit the lamp. You still believe in curses? I don't call it that. What do you call it? Memory. He nodded. You think it'll come for him? He's already rotting. That's enough? No. He watched her stir the pot on the stove. She told me you'd carry it farther than she could. Marin poured soup into the bowls. I'm trying. She said you'd finish it. Maybe. They sat across from each other. Neither touched the spoon. Tomorrow, he asked. We walk the ridge. You? Think we'll find something. We already did. He looked down at the dirt on his boots. I still hear her sometimes. So do I. She forgives you. Marin's voice caught. I know. The window creaked once. They didn't look. They just listened. They crossed the ridge just after dawn. The trees grew tighter here. Taller, too. The sound didn't move right. Leaves whispered but never rustled. The boy stepped quiet, scanning the trunks like they might breathe. Are you sure it's this way? Marin asked. Keep going. Have you ever been this far? Number, but I know it. They walked until the trail thinned out. Moss crept up dead stumps. Bark peeled in curls. Something swung ahead. The rope, still tied to the high limb. No wind, no breeze, just movement. That's where he waits, the boy said. Marin stopped. You see him? He nodded. Not with eyes. Then how? He sings. What does he sound like? Like a man choking on his own name. The rope twisted. Once, twice, then stopped. Marin stepped forward. You think it's the same rope? He never changed it. How long do you think it's been here? Longer than you. She looked up. He used it on her. No. Then who? Others. Names? Don't have names, just sounds. He stepped into the clearing. I came here in a dream, he said. Who brought you? She did. Why? To show me where he lives. Marin circled the tree. The base was scorched, old, ash gray. He doesn't like women who fight back, the boy said. Said they're unclean. He said that. He tells himself things to feel holy. Marin gripped the axe handle slung across her back. You think he's watching now? He always watches. From where? The boy pointed to a dark slit in the tree line. Cave. Hole. Animal hole. Number man-sized. Marin stared into the woods. He waits until the rope sings. And then? He comes. She unslung the axe. Have you ever seen a woman swing from that? No. You see a man? Yes. Alive? No. The boy stepped back. He's close. You scared? Yes. You want to leave? No. Marin walked to the rope, ran her fingers along it. It was wet. You see that? She said. The boy nodded. The tree's bleeding. Thin red lines ran down the bark. Marin wiped it with her sleeve. It smeared. Thick. Have you ever heard about sap like that? She asked. Only in stories. Fairy tales? Warnings. She looked up. The branch held steady. She lifted the axe. You think he'll come if I cut it? Yes. Good. She swung once. The blade sank deep. The branch groaned. You ready? The boy asked. I was born ready. Were you born? Cursed. Maybe. The second swing split the bark. The rope snapped and fell. It landed at her feet. Still wet, still twisting. She didn't step back. He's moving, the boy said. Where? Behind you. She turned. Nothing. Just trees. Are you lying? No. She scanned the tree line. Where? He's in the hole. Marin walked toward the dark slit. The air shifted. The boy hummed. Low. Slow. What's that? She asked. She used to sing it. What's the song? No name. Just notes. Why are you singing it now? She said it keeps him back. Marin crouched near the hole. It wasn't natural. Dug out. Carved. Hand marks in the soil. Scratch lines. The smell came next. Rot, like wet teeth, and old fire. He's not a man anymore, the boy whispered. What is he? A thing that forgot how to die. Marin tossed the rope into the hole. You think he'll take that? He'll see it as a challenge. Good. She raised her voice. I'm here, she said. Nothing. Then a hiss. Low. Sharp. The boy covered his ears. Keep humming, she said. He did. The hiss grew louder. The ground near the hole pulsed, then stopped. The rope vanished, pulled inside. Marin stood her ground. You see him now? Yes. Where? In you. What? He's in your memory. She shook her head. No. He lives there. No. The boy stepped forward. Do you feel him when you close your eyes? Marin didn't answer. You remember the barn? Yes. You remember the smell? Yes. You hear her voice at night? Marin's hands trembled. She said you would carry him until you made him see you. She looked at the hole, then at the tree, then back at the boy. I see him now, she said. He nodded. She swung the axe one last time. The branch cracked, snapped, fell. The tree shuddered. The hole closed. Just dirt. Flat. Still. The rope is gone. The branch is gone. The singing stopped. Marin dropped the axe. You okay? The boy asked. No. But lighter? No. She walked past him. He followed. You think he's really gone? No. Then why do it? So he knows I'm not afraid. They reached the trail. You think he saw you? Yes. Think he'll come again? Yes. What then? Marin looked back once. Then he'll see me again. And they walked home. Rain had started sometime in the night. Software reluctant. The kind that didn't soak, just reminded. Marin moved through the house slowly. She hadn't slept. The floor creaked differently this morning, like it knew something. The boy sat at the kitchen table. His boots were muddy. A wet pine twig hung from his cuff. He held a folded paper in both hands. Where'd you get that? Drawer by your bed. You went through my room. It was open. Marin stepped forward, reached. He pulled the paper back. This one says, they said it was my fault. Give it here. You write all these? Give it. He handed it over. She smoothed it against the table, staring at the words. You didn't send it? No. Why not? There was no one to send it to. He watched her. You used to write to her, he said. Marin folded the paper, tight, precise. She told you that. She said it helped you stay human. Marin opened the drawer beside the stove, pulled out the old stack, yellowed, bent corners. The boy leaned in. That one says Connolly. Don't read them. I already did. She looked at him. You have no right. She said I'd find them. She says why? She said they'd be the truth when your mouth couldn't speak it. Marin sat down hard. The stack dropped beside her. He picked one more. This one says, he said if I told, they'd dig a well for me too. She grabbed it fast. Stop. You wrote their names. I was trying to forget them. Did it work? No. He looked at the paper in her hands. You were 16? Yes. She was 13. Marin nodded. She was your sister. Her breath caught. Yes. He leaned back. She said you left. I had to. She told me you ran. I did. She didn't blame you. She should have. She said you were the only one who didn't watch. Marin's hands shook. I didn't stop it either. You were a kid. So was she. He reached across the table, placed one finger on a name written in black ink. Who's Abel Merritt? Foreman at the mill. What did he do? Laughed. Only that? No. He was there? Yes. The boy tapped another letter. Jude Heller. Preacher's boy. He touched her. Marin didn't answer. I saw those same names carved under the floorboards. He said. Marin turned sharply. What? In the barn, under the feed trough. How do you know that? She told me. She's gone. She's not quiet. Marin stood. You don't speak for her. She sent me. You say that again, and I swear. He didn't flinch. She said you'd be angry. I buried her. You found bones. I carried her to the chapel myself. And she still talks. Marin walked to the sink, her back to him. She said you'd be the last to speak her name. I couldn't say it. He opened another letter. This one says, I should have walked her home. Marin turned. Burn those. He didn't move. You keep them, they'll rot you. She said you needed them. I need silence. No, you don't. You don't know what I need. I know what she said. He opened the next. This one just says, I still see the rope. Marin slapped the table. Enough. He stared. Quiet. She sat again, hands in her lap. I thought writing would make it fade. Did it? No. He placed the stack between them. She said they're your map. Map to what? To who needs reckoning. She wanted revenge? She wanted peace. They don't go together. She said you'd know how to make them fit. Marin touched one envelope. It had blood on the corner, years old. I wrote this the night they hanged the girl behind the mill. She wasn't the first. She wasn't even the loudest. He reached for the envelope. Don't. I just want to know her name. Grace. He nodded. You buried her? They buried her in a ditch. I marked it after. She said you'd remember them all. I didn't try to. He stood. Then write the rest. There's no one left to send them to. Then read them out loud. I can't. You will. Marin stared at the stack. The room felt smaller. You think it'll help? He didn't answer. She pulled the top letter free. I opened it. Her lips moved. No sound. Then, finally, she was wearing a blue ribbon. He sat down across from her. She kept reading. Voice low, flat, true. And for the first time in years, she didn't feel alone in the house. The river sat low. Drought took most of it, left behind a strip of gray silt and bones of driftwood. The boy walked ahead of her, careful where he stepped. Marin followed, boots sinking into the soft edges of the bank. Are you sure it's here? She asked. Watch. He knelt and picked up a pebble, smooth, flat. He dropped it where the ground darkened near the willow roots. It didn't bounce. It disappeared. The soil caved in slow, like something down there breathed. Marin crouched. Sinkhole? No. He brushed back the top layer. Burial pit. Fresh? Not anymore. Marin touched the edge. How do you know this? She told me. She's gone. She showed me anyway. The boy pointed. 3 feet down, wrapped in tar cloth, with his belt still on. Whose? Sheriff Connolly's boy. Marin stared at the hole. He said he ran off. He lied. He always lies. She stood. You dig it? No. You want to? No. Then why show me? Because it matters who you bury and who you just cover up. She stepped back. You think Connolly knows? He buried him. Marin looked toward the ridge. You saw it. No. But you believe it? Feels right. They stood quiet. Wind skimmed the river, dry and sharp. You think he loved the boy? She asked. Not enough. Marin took a slow breath. He was mean. That kid. Still a kid. He laughed when she bled. I know. Why show me now? Because truth doesn't bury itself. They walked home. By the time the sky turned red, the house had darkened. Moran lit a single lamp and set it in the window. The boy peeled apples at the table. You think he'll come? He asked. Sheriff? He nodded. He will. You scared? No. She loaded the rifle anyway. Where'd you learn to shoot? My uncle. Before or after? Before. Have you ever killed someone? No. You ready to? Marin clicked the chamber shut. Yes. Night came fast. Footsteps crushed gravel outside. The porch creaked, then the knock. Hard. Twice. She opened the door with the rifle low. Connolly stood there, red in the face, sweat on his collar. You think you're clever? No. You dig? No. You talk to folks? No one listens to me. You think I won't burn this house down too? Marin raised the rifle. I think you already tried once. You oughta watch yourself. You oughta tell the truth. Connolly stepped closer. She told you? She didn't need to. He looked past her. Boy's still here. Why? He's got a mouth. So do you. Connolly leaned in. You say anything, you're next. Next after who? After the others. Marin didn't blink. You bury your own son. He didn't answer. You think he deserved that? Connolly's jaw twitched. He was weak. He was a child. He was in trouble. So you fixed it? Connolly looked away. He shamed the name. You don't get to say that. You weren't there. You were. They stood in silence. Then the boy's voice behind her. You let him watch. Connolly turned. I should have drowned you. You tried. Marin stepped between them. Leave. Connolly's voice dropped. You aim for that thing. You better use it. I will. You better be ready for what comes after. I am. He stared. You want a war? No, she said. But I won't bury quiet anymore. Connolly stepped back. You remember who runs this place. Marin didn't lower the gun. Not for long. He walked off. No words, no threat, just boots and dirt. The boy came up beside her. He knows. He's known. What now? Marin shut the door. Now we write his name down. In ink. In blood. She locked the door behind her. This time, twice. The chapel stood hollow. No roof. Just ribs of timber and rusted nails. The boy stopped at the fence line. Marin walked ahead alone. You coming? She asked. No. Why not? He pointed. The well's singing. She turned. You hear it now? Yes. What's it sound like? Like her. Marin stepped through the crumbling gate. Weeds brushed her knees. The wind stirred nothing. The stones around the well were cracked. The wood beam above it bent inward like a spine. I told you not to go near it, the boy said. I have to. She's still down there. I know. Marin gripped the rope crank. It creaked. You feel that? He asked. Yes. It's pulling. I know. The bucket at the bottom clanked. She turned the handle slowly. What if it's not her? It is. You sure? No. Marin leaned over the edge. The well was dry. Mostly. The smell came first. Earth. Ash. Something wet. I hear singing, the boy whispered. She nodded. It's a woman's voice. Marin lit the lantern. Don't lower it, he said. I have to see. She said you already know. I need to look anyway. The flame flickered as she tied the lantern to the rope and turned the crank. They watched it descend, inch by inch. Halfway down, the air shifted. Do you feel that? He asked. Yes. Then the light dimmed, then stilled, then hit something soft. It bounced, then settled. What's that? I don't know. Pull it back up. Marin turned the crank. The lantern came slow, then, floating up, a braid. Still golden, still whole, waterlogged but untouched. Marin dropped to her knees. She reached out, took the braid in both hands. "It's hers," the boy said. Marin pressed it to her chest. She wept. "She said you'd come," the boy whispered. "She's been waiting." Marin rocked back. "She was just a girl." "I know." "She didn't scream when they took her." She sang. Marin ran her thumb along the braid's tie. Red thread, still knotted. "She kept it in," she said. "She didn't want them to see her break." Marin looked at the well. "She's still down there?" "Yes." "Alive?" "No." "But present?" "Yes." The boy stepped closer, but not past the line of stones. "She said she hears everything. Even now. Especially now." Marin stood. "She forgave me." "Yes." "Why?" "You were the only one who saw her as a whole." Marin laid the braid on the chapel floor. "We bury this." "No." "What then?" She said, "Leave it here." "She wants to stay." "She wants to be known." Marin nodded. "Did she tell you that?" "She showed me." Marin sat beside the braid. "Every time I closed my eyes, I saw this well," she said. "She said you tried to forget it." "I did." "You buried it in letters." "They didn't answer." The boy sat at the edge of the stones. "She said if you sang now, she'd rest." "I can't." "You can." "I'm too old." "You were 16 when she died." "She was 13. She still is." Marin's voice cracked. "I don't know the words." She said you'd remember the tune. The wind finally moved. It carried a low hum. Marin closed her eyes. She hummed back. Software, uneven, then steady. The boy watched her. The chapel walls held the sound. Stone caught it. The well stopped pulling. The rope slackened. The braid lay still. Marin opened her eyes. "She's gone." "She's full." Marin stood again. "Do we leave her here?" "Yes. Someone will find it." "They need to." Marin took one step back, then another. The boy stayed kneeling. "She said thank you," he whispered. "For what?" "For remembering the part they tried to erase." Marin touched the braid one last time. Then I walked away. She didn't look back. The wind followed. So did the silence. The storm passed quickly, but left the house humming. Boards ticked. Glass sighed. The fire died low. Marin sat at the edge of the bed, laces undone, boots still on. The boy stood near the hearth, holding something small in his palm. "I ain't your nephew," he said. She didn't look up. "I know. I ain't even alive. Not like you think." "I know that too." He stepped forward, quiet. I waited to say it. "Why now?" "Because it's almost done." She finally looked. "What is?" He opened his hand. Her old locket. Tarnished. Bent. She stood slowly. "Where'd you find that?" "She gave it to me." Marin's face drained. "Said I'd know who to give it to." "She kept it?" "Always." Marin reached for it but stopped short. "You remember what's inside?" he asked. Thread. Rust red. From her braid he opened it. It was still there. "She said it'd carry you back to the fire." "I never left it." "You did." Marin sat back down. "What's your name?" "Jacob." She repeated it. "Jacob." "You were going to ask sooner," he said. "I knew it wasn't mine to ask." She said names mean wait. "They do." He knelt in front of her. "She said I was born where the fire ended." Marin closed her eyes. "She said when the barn burned, something stayed." Smoke. "Number sound." He placed the locket in her hands. "She said you'd carry the rest." "I buried her once." "She didn't stay." Marin swallowed hard. "She said your silence made her louder." "I didn't mean to." "She knew that." Jacob stood again. "I ain't a boy," he said. "I know. I ain't a ghost either. What are you?" "Something sent to finish it." "You sure?" "Yes." He pointed to the letters still stacked on the table. "You wrote names." "I didn't send them." "You will." Marin held the locket tight. "She forgave me." "She said you never needed it." "I did." "No." Jacob said. "You needed to speak." Marin stood. "You remember the rail where they tied her?" "Yes." "You remember the men who watched?" "Yes." "You remember who held the match?" "Yes." He looked at her. "Then say it." "Connolly." Jacob nodded. "She said if you said it out loud, he'd feel it burn." Marin moved to the stove, poured water. Her hands trembled. She said you'd be the last fire. I don't want to be fired. You already are. Marin turned. You said you're not alive. Not the way others are. You breathe. Yes. You bleed. Only when it matters. Then what are you? A reminder. Of what? What happens when folks don't finish what they start? She set the cup down. Do you feel pain? Some. Fear? Not the same kind. You dream? Yes. About her? Always. Marin walked to the window, looked out into the night. She said you'd take me to the tree, Jacob said. I already did. Not that one. Marin froze. You mean the hanging oak? Yes. I swore I'd never go back. She said you swore too much and finished too little. Marin turned. She said that? Jacob nodded. She said you were stronger than most men, but quieter than any woman. She says what I'm supposed to do. She said dig. Marin's breath caught. She buried something? Not a body. What then? Her voice. Marin stepped back. She couldn't carry it anymore, Jacob said. And I'm supposed to? You're the last one who remembers it right. The room felt heavier. The air didn't move. You still see her? Marin asked. Yes. She still sings. Yes. What's the song? Don't have a name. Just wounds. Marin picked up the rifle, slung it over her shoulder. You gonna take me there? Number you're gonna take me. She nodded. Tomorrow. Tonight. Why? Because he won't expect it. Marin looked at the locket again. She said when I held it, I'd remember. Do you? Yes. Jacob reached for the door. You ready? I've been ready since I ran. You didn't run, he said. You survived. Marin stepped past him. I don't want to survive anymore. Then let's finish it. They walked into the dark, with no lantern, no trail, and no more time to wait. The moon was sharp above the trees. Marin moved without speaking. Jacob followed, steps light but steady. The woods knew them, knew what was coming. You don't have to, he said. I do. They crossed the ridge, past the edge of the clearing. The branches arched close, then opened like something had been waiting. The rope swung slowly in the still air. Marin stopped beneath it. Jacob stood back. He's close. I know. Are you sure about this? I've waited long enough. They heard the footsteps before they saw him. Boots dragging, a muttered curse, a clink of metal in his coat. Connolly stepped into the clearing, bottle in hand, shirt untucked, face red with something more than drink. Well, he said, blinking hard. Ain't this a picture? Marin didn't move. You came here for a sermon? He asked. She gripped the axe in one hand. You always were a mouthy girl, he said, laughing. Always thought you knew better. I did. You think you're owed something? No. You think I'm scared of ghosts? No. He took another step. Then what's this for? An ending. He tilted the bottle at her. You kill me. You become me. She raised the axe. Number I will end you. Connolly chuckled, low and broken. You swing that thing. You better make it count. Marin stared at the rope. Do you remember her? She asked. He squinted. Which one? The one that sang. He flinched. 13, she said. Red thread in her braid. Should have kept her mouth shut. She died for telling the truth. She died 'cause you ran. Marin stepped forward. You put that rope there. He didn't answer. Say it. Connolly's hand moved toward his coat. Jacob spoke. Don't. The sheriff froze. Marin lifted the axe higher. You remember the fire? I was there. You lit it? He grinned. Number, but I laughed. You watched her burn? I watched them all. And did nothing. He shrugged. Like you. She swung. The axe missed him by inches, slicing into the rope. It snapped. I fell hard. Connolly stumbled back. What the hell you doing? He shouted. Making sure it never swings again. He pulled the pistol from his coat. Jacob stepped forward. Drop it, the boy said. Connolly laughed. You think I'm scared of a kid? Jacob didn't blink. She sent me, he said. Connolly turned to Marin. You really believe all that? Yes. You think this is justice? It's enough. She moved fast. He raised the gun. Too slow. The axe came down, clipped his hand. He screamed, dropped the pistol. Marin kicked it away. Connolly dropped to his knees, blood slicking the dirt. You don't get to leave this place, she said. I made this town, he gasped. You ruined it. He looked up. I'll rot before I say sorry. You will. Jacob stepped beside her. He feels it now, he whispered. Connolly spat blood. You don't scare me. I'm not here to scare you, Marin said. She raised the axe again. He flinched. Then I laughed. Go on, girl. She didn't swing. She dropped the axe at his feet. You don't get to make me a killer. He blinked. You leave. Him, she said to Jacob. We let the ground do the rest. The boy nodded. Connolly reached for the axe. Jacob kicked it farther. You stay here, he said. Connolly tried to stand. His leg gave out. You can't bury me, he wheezed. No, Marin said, but you'll bury yourself trying. She turned. Jacob followed. Behind them, Connolly cursed and howled. The rope lay in the dirt, frayed, done. Marin didn't look back. You done? Jacob asked. Yes. Do you feel better? No. But you finished it? I ended what needed to end. They walked home in silence. At the ridge, Jacob stopped. She said she's quiet now. Marin nodded. She said thank you. Marin stared ahead. She said you can rest. No. Marin whispered. Not yet. Jacob looked up. What now? We take the names. All of them. Yes. And. We speak them out loud. Jacob smiled. Good. They kept walking. Behind them, the trees held still. The rope never moved again. The morning was still, the kind that waits. Marin sat at the kitchen table, hands flat against the wood, eyes fixed on the place across from her. The chair was empty. The bread crust sat alone. She didn't touch it. Jacob was gone. No note, no sound. Just the back door swung open with the wind and his boots missing from the step. The blanket on the bed still held his shape. The letters on the table had been stacked neatly, tied with red thread. She hadn't cried, not yet. Instead, she boiled water, swept the porch, and lit a lamp though it was day. The silence wasn't the same anymore. It used to be heavy. Now it was sharp. She reached for the top letter in the stack. I opened it, said the name out loud. Jude Heller. Her voice didn't shake. She opened the second. Abel Merritt. And the third. Governor Lang. Each one spoke. Each one heard. She folded them all back up, slid them into envelopes. The stamps came from the drawer she hadn't touched in years. The one with her sister's sewing kit. She walked them to the edge of town, dropped them in the box, didn't look back. No one stopped her. No one asked. Some watched. Let them. She left the door open when she returned home. The wind caught it twice, but she didn't close it. At supper, she placed the bread crust in the center of the table. Pour one cup. Left the second empty. Night fell quiet. No knocks, no rope swinging. She slept anyway. In the morning, she chopped wood. The stack by the wall grew. Her hands blistered, but she didn't mind. By midday, the chickens came close again. They had stayed away while Jacob was there, like they knew something older had passed through. She fed them slowly, spoke their names aloud too. Clara, Ruth, Midge. The house didn't hum like it used to. It listened. She walked to the grave near the chapel. The braid lay beneath a flat stone now. No one had touched it. She knelt and traced the thread with one finger. I sent them, she said. Nothing answered, but the wind shifted. That was enough. She passed Connolly's house on the way back. Shutters closed, roof sagging. No one had seen him since that night. She didn't check. I didn't need to. The rope hadn't moved. The tree looked smaller. The air is less tight. Back at the house, she set out 2 plates again. Habit. But she didn't stop herself. She left one clean. The other is full. She ate slowly, stared at the crust, didn't touch it. That night, she wrote another letter, this one without a name, just a story. A girl, a song, a rope, a boy, a fire, a truth. She folded it, placed it beside the stack. In the morning, she'd send that one too. On the 3rd day, she heard wheels, a cart dragging over gravel. She stepped onto the porch. Nothing, just dust. The mailbox leaned forward. She walked to it, opened the lid, empty, but someone had tied a red thread around the post. She smiled, small. She left it there, didn't cut it, didn't ask. That afternoon, she heard a knock. Not loud, not fast, just even. 3 taps. She opened the door. A girl stood barefoot, rope burns on her wrists, hair knotted, eyes too quiet for her age. The girl held out a piece of bread. My mama said you'd know what that means. Marin didn't answer, didn't ask her name. She stepped aside, left the door open. The girl walked in, sat at the table without a word. Marin placed the crust in front of her. The girl stared, then reached, took a bite, chewed slowly. Didn't cry, didn't blink. Marin sat across from her. Cold water or warm? Warm. Marin stood, lit the stove. The pot hissed. The air thickened with steam and silence. She turned. The girl watched her. You hurt? Not now. You run far. Far enough. Anybody know you're gone? No. You got a name? The girl shook her head. Want one? Not yet. Marin nodded. Are you hungry? Little. Got soup. Okay. Marin ladled the broth into a bowl, set it in front of her. The girl didn't move at first. Then I picked up the spoon, hands shaking. Marin said nothing. Watched. Waited. The girl swallowed, closed her eyes. Good. The girl nodded. They sat that way a while. When the bowl was empty, Marin stood. You'll sleep in the back room. The girl looked up. Safe? Yes. Quiet? Yes. She stood, followed Marin down the hall, stopped at the door. Can I lock it? From the inside. Marin handed her the key. The girl stepped in. Didn't say goodnight. I didn't need to. Marin returned to the table. She picked up the crust. I held it for a long time, then placed it back down, right in the center, where it belonged. She didn't close the door. Not then, not ever again. She just waited. I watched the road and whispered the names.